Yo, what is up? What is up? It is me, your boy Nerdtaku, and I am ready for this chapter. I've had everyone and their mom tell me, yo, you gotta read that new chapter. You gotta read it. It's so good. Like, oh shit. Like that good. So I am super excited to read it. I'm just setting up so you guys can see it down in the corner. Okay, cool. So if you're new here, my name is Nerdtaku and I do all sorts of live streams and stuff like that. I've been recently putting out anime live reacts on like TikTok and stuff like that. I cannot do them on YouTube because copyright. So if you like that type of live reaction content, definitely check out my Instagram or TikTok. Um, but I do the chapters here because it's better for long form, and usually I like to take my time with these chapters. Um, so the chapter should be, I always do this shit. Okay, right down there, on the live stream. So make sure that you are checking that out. So let's get into this. So start off with this really cool cover spread of not all the Straw Hats, but some of them doing a maid cafe, it seems. You got Robin, Nami, Lilith, even, and Bonnie. And they are serving Luffy, Zoro, uh, Chopper, and Sanji, and Usopp. And then also a cat and a big sheep or ram, I guess. So, very interesting, but really cool cover spread. I like how Usopp looks like he's looking at the menu, like it's gonna charge him a fortune, and Lilith has her tongue out, like, ha ha ha, like, I'm charging you a fuck ton for this. So, that's pretty cool. I like that. So, without further ado, let's get into it. This is the official release, BT dubs. So just know that this is the official translation for Viz. Okay, I'm gonna go single panel for this because I'm very interested in how this looks. And then they Nami goes, "Oh," and all the Straw Hats go, "What? Who is that?" And it's like you get to see the black lightning coming off of his axe and Somers hitting the ground. And Somers hits the ground bleeding. And Somers like, "Yeah." And Usopp's like, "It worked on him. How? What did he do?" And Scopper goes, "I'm rusty." Dude, that's crazy aura. That's you know what's really crazy about this is I feel like a a lot of people that are from the old gen. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I just woke up. I was up late last night playing Marvel Rivals, getting my ass kicked. Um, you know what's so crazy about this is Garp said it, Whitebeard said it, like all of these generation people said it. And I get it. They've been out of combat, so like I get it. But at the same time, I'm almost like, is there like do you basically like are you going and your like skills get to a certain point and you peak and that's your prime and then you just go downhill like there's no maintaining for a relative amount of time like I don't know. Hmm. But even still some of these people who say like I'm rusty or something like that it just makes me wonder what they were at their prime because if they're doing the crazy shit that they're doing in their old age what were they at the top of their game. I don't know, just food for thought. Okay, so after Scopper basically beats the brakes off it. He says, I'm rusty. He turns around, swings his axe around, and Summers goes, Thorn Salation. And it brings up thorns and blocks Scopper's attack. And he goes, ugh, huff. And it's like, Mountain Eater, what are you doing in Elbath? Damn, they really know? Okay. That just means that the world government is trash, homie. It's so trash. But Sommers looks upset. But I do like that he got back up and started moving. Yeah. Hmm. And Scoffer says, "Let's not get bogged down with boring questions." And he goes, they start fighting. So I mean, Sommers is fighting, uh, but hold on a second here. What do mine eyes deceive me? It looks like there's black lightning coming off of Scopper's what looks to be hockey hardened axe, but it also looks like there may be some coming off of Sommers as well. And then Usopp says, What? You met him at the castle? And says, Yeah, was totally pushing Luffy and Zoro around. He's the father of the boy at the school named Cullen. And Usopp's like, That old man is? And then Robin says, If I didn't mishear, he might be Scopper Gaban. And then it looks like Jinbei said, He's the left arm of the king of the pirates, the counterpart to Rayleigh. And then Brooks like, What's he doing in the land of giants? And then, hmm, it looks like Chopper says, His attacks are doing damage, but how? And then Robin says, I can't move, but I can still help from a distance. Don't do it, Robin. He uses thorns of iron. Your hand to hand blows aren't suited for fighting him. Jinbei, the goat. Just like, yo, don't do it. Okay, this is a double spread. I'm gonna bring this into full view. And it says Thorn Hunt and Crimson Lotus Hell. Watch your step. There's no safe passage. And it says, Scoffer's like, listen, I'm in a hurry. And he says, come on then. Yo. And he hits him with Axe Symphony and cuts him like his whole head off and his arm. It says, Whoa, look out. And oh my God, what a G. He sees that the ground it has thorns on it, and he hits his axe on the ground and then goes spinning off. Bro, this guy is crazy. Yo, Scopper is on that next level with it. And so he like cuts him down, and they're like, What? And then it's like, he beat him. And then it says stab, stab, stab as he like lands on the ground. And fucking Chopper's like, I transforms into his like running point and says, Where are you going, Chopper? Ow, ouch, ow. It says, He was able to slice up a guy who's immortal. That's got to be a crucial secret. Yeah, go Chopper. Chopper's thinking right. And then they're at the um library. And killing him says, Good, well done. You have proven yourself obedient. That's all we needed to see. I'll take care of the other building. And Anj says, no. And he hits it with a burning arrow. It's like, wahaha, look at it burn. And all of a sudden, Robin starts crying after saying, the library. It says, no, it's not your fault, Chief Ja Rule. And it says, the words of our forefathers, all of our history. Bro, this chapter feels like it's going so fast. I do love that Chopper had that thought. He said he knows how to cut them down. Like, I can't fucking not chase after him to see if I can figure out what's going on here. But Scopper looks like he's trying to body all the knights. Like, excuse me. He's trying to body all these knights like with the quickness, which is crazy. He's like, dude, I'm trying to speed run this to save my kid. And Chopper being like, he knows how to cut the immortal. I need to fucking find out. Instead of like helping the Straw Hats get free, because like, I mean, essentially he probably can't, but that's crazy. Then you say, this is Killingham. The fire is burning. And uh Gunko says, come back, child. And she's crying. Gunko says, why aren't you happy? And Johanna says, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm still alive. I'm sorry that everything's burning because of me. And the kids are like, no, Ronya. And it says, it's not your fault. I think it's like Ronha? Ronha? Damn, imagine that, like a kid that is just like racked with guilt because she was survivor's guilt, because she survived and all the library books burned. That's crazy. Oda is a monster. It says culture, history, children, troops. You don't have the right to take any of these things away. Gunko says, a crewmate of the king of the pirates? You realize that resistance means the death of these hostages. And all of them say, oh, it's Mr. Ya. Helen, Mr. Ya is here. And he's like, huh? He came to save us. And uh Scopper's like, don't speak up, Cullen. Don't do it. And Cullen says, Daddy. And says, that's my daddy, everybody. Guess what? He's the stronger than anyone. He's gonna save us. And Gunko's like, and all of a sudden, Scopper like hits it and it says, yeah, man, doing that is like, it's really one of those times where like, as much as I dogpile on Dragon's right, having a child in like is a liability in this world. Like, you can't, like, because the minute she peeped that Colin was his son, it was over. This is gonna be crazy. And then she immediately does exactly what I said. And she goes straight for Colin. And she like puts a spear right to his throat and says, so you don't mind if I kill him? And says, ah, no. It's like, that's what I take from your response. And it says, this is my final chance. There's still time to put out the fire in the library. I can save the children and Elbaf in the process as long as it's instant. That's it. And Scopper says, hang in there, Colin. Give me 1 second. You're a big, strong boy now. Yo, what is he about to do? What is he about to do? I'm like scared for him because he thinks that he can do all this stuff in the time it takes her to fucking. I'm afraid to go to the next page. I'm not gonna lie. Man. Okay. Here we go. It says, "Okay, Daddy, I'm a warrior, so beat this creep." And there's like a little like flashback thing. It says, "Be strong if you get hurt. I'll make sure you survive." And Gunko says, "A life once lost will never return." It says, "Look out, Colin." And there's like a flashback. Like you see Scopper and it says, "This is our son, Mr. Ya." It's like, "He's so adorable and huge. What a gift you've given me, Ripley. My lifelong treasure." And Ripley, it like flashes to Ripley saying, "Please be safe, Colin." And you see like the spear go into Colin's neck from Gunko. And Gabon says, "I have to put a stop to this before things spiral out of control." Yo, this is crazy. Ugh. Yo, Skyper's such a fucking G though. Like, oh man. And Colin is too. He's like, "Do it, bro. Do it. Squeeze it." Yo. And all of a sudden, oh my God. And Scopper with his future sight sees Colin dying. And he says, "I'll be strong." And all of a sudden, Scopper says, "Oh no, Colin." And he says, "Don't do it. I yield." And then Gunko like pulls it out and Scopper says, "I'm sorry, Elbaf." And Gunko says, "Feeble, frail thing," and like launches an arrow at him. And he hits like three arrows right through him. And it says, "I'm sorry, Colin. It must have hurt. I'm sorry." And Colin's like, cough, cough, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," as he falls and like Chopper runs towards them. Bro, what is happening? What is happening right now? But he's falling into the underworld, which is where Luffy's at. Could it be he falls down there and then teaches him how to beat the Holy Knights? But the buildings are already burning, dude. Like it says, "Daddy." It says, "Mr. Ya." Whoa. Hold on a second. It says, "Daddy, Mr. Ya, Daddy." And then all of a sudden, like something happens and it says, and then it's like, "Father." Oh no. Wait a minute. What is happening here? I don't I don't know if I can right now. I'm trying to read this and understand because my mind is getting fucking blown right now. And it looks like it shows a picture of Gunko way back when, and it says "Father," and it's like she's got like a question mark and an exclamation point, and it says, "What, what is this memory?" And then all of a sudden you hear yo ho ho ho, and then it's like, well, it's my dream to be a pirate, you see. And all of a sudden, like her eye like shifts and says, Huff. It says, the resemblance is uncanny. Think of a way to escape. And he says, oh, pardon me. And then all of a sudden it's like, Brooke? Huff, Huff. Are you Brooke? And then all of a sudden it's like something hits her. And it says, she hears a voice in her head that says, what is taking so long? And Sommers and Killingham. Sommers is like completely destroyed. And Killingham says, great emu. And it says, at this moment, the Holy Land is a sea of fire. And then all of a sudden, there's like Conquerors hockey going everywhere. And it says, what happened to her? She looks so scary now. And it says, we need greater numbers. Allow me, allow Moo to show you the dominance of God. This is crazy. This is wild because this I don't this might be Brooke's daughter. But again, I feel like I'm getting proved right. I had the wrong person, but the right thing. It seems to me that this is Brooke's daughter or something of the sort. And it looks like Emu basically projected his or her mind into Gunko and like basically took over Gunko. And it says, allow Moo to show you, almost like Emu Moo, to show you the dominance of God. And there's all sorts of Conquerors hockey coming off of Gunko. It's like Emu like puts a piece of him or herself into each one of the god knights through the abyss mark and communicate can literally see through their eyes and have full understanding of everything through that person. And but they can also to me it's literally just like I've said a million times, the emu is like the king in black, has all the symbiotes that he gives out, but he controls them all. um but this is crazy, absolute banana land. The To go back to your point, can you sum up the new chapter? Scopper's a G. He knows how to kill the God's Knights, and but they threatened Colin, and so he took an L. Um, but Gunko might be Brooke's daughter. So that's my sum up of the chapter right now. This is crazy. All right, I really want to see one other thing here. So this is the official, right? So if you go to let's try to do this. Um, I just want to see what the unofficial says in like Insane chap. So hyped for next week. Yeah, dude. This chapter has been crazy. Like just the whole scopper thing and just like doing mad work. Like the fact that they didn't know that Scopper Gaban was on Elbaf is actually kind of crazy though. Him cutting, dude, him bodying Sommers is kind of bananas, but I kind of like it, but it doesn't seem like he's killing them because Sommers was very much alive. I wonder if it's almost like they're taking like away their regeneration, but like it's only slowing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Scopper went in. Yeah, the dude pulled no punches, and he was about to do the same to Gunko. Hmm. This is very interesting because it's like the same in the translation as it is in um the end here. But um and I'm wondering here cuz like they're going and they're talking here and like she's having this flashback thing and it says the resemblance is uncanny to is that to Colin and Scopper or is that to Brooke and Gunko? I don't know. It's very interesting. The fact that they're like great emu. Mm. Dude, this is gonna be crazy. People were saying like, oh, like I think that Gunko is emu. And though they were wrong, I think that there's a part of emu inside of her for sure, obviously, considering she was able to take this over. Man, this is just crazy. This really has me thrown. You know, it'd be crazy though. So hear me out. Um, so Brooke leaves after having a daughter to um go on his pirate journey. She grows up and right in time for God Valley, where the whole country is being hunted. And what do you know? They just so happen to find this girl at God Valley where she was being hunted and turn her into a holy knight. Very interesting. Very interesting. Chapter is so crazy. Holy fuck. This this chapter is blowing my mind. These back to back double spreads at the end really like fucking just go crazy. I think Scopper's falling down. Here, let's just go through it real quick. Um, because I wanna. There's some other stuff I gotta do, but let's go through it, shall we? Scopper being this menace, grade A, A1. Just bodying Sommers, and they didn't mention at least, you know, hey, this is where we know each other, um, which is kind of crazy, but whatever. Them the Straw Hats realizing who it is, very interesting. Chopper being having the forward thinking of the attacks are having an impact, like he's really able to hurt them. Robin not being able to get loose, blah blah blah. Then just Scopper just doing the most and just cutting Sommer's upper half just completely clean. Craziness. Then Chopper taking off because he's like he knows he was able to cut someone who's immortal. This could be critical information. That's great. I love that for Chopper because I feel like Chopper has had very lackluster showings, and this is a really good moment for him, in my opinion, just because this is showing his intelligence. Like, yo, this guy knows how to do work on these guys. We need that information. It sucks to see that everything has been lit on fire. That's fucked up. And that Killingham's like, oh, you forgot one. Um, that's super shitty. And Oda's a menace for doing this and making Robin watch. Super menace. The little girl being upset that the library's burning is really tugging at the heartstrings. Um, Scopper running towards Gunko, super cool. The fact that um the fact that Colin fumbled the bag here and just went and said like, "Oh, you know, what's up, Dad?" And immediately that's when Gunko went straight for him. Like, that sucks. Scupper should have gave his kid that Michael Jackson treatment. Man, fuck these kids and kill the Holy Knights. I hear you. I do. Because part of me agrees with you for sure. Like, I would have loved to see it. I'm gonna be honest. I would have loved to see, Scopper be like, yo, this doesn't matter. But at the same time, he wants to protect the kids. Um, but that does suck. That sucks real bad. Because definitely these kids are not going to be saved now, at least by Scopper. Um, damn. But him using Future Sight, super goaded. Like I love that. My man's folded over plot progression. God damn, Luffy coming in 3. Um, yeah, man. Here's the thing that kind of blows my mind here. So he has that future sight moment, which is super awesome, and he gives up, and then he gets put by 3 arrows, which like that's not gonna kill him. The fact that Chopper, uh, now here's the part I don't get. So you see, Chopper has like the dot 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 exclamation point, And then he's like, Dad. But then it looks like, and maybe this is just me, it almost looks like Chopper jumps off with him, right? Am I tripping? Chopper just dives right in after him? Because we see Scopper and it's like, Dad. And then all of a sudden, you know, Chopper's like, shit. And then jumps and is like, yeah. So I think he jumped in after him. And then just the end, the fucking the brook, the the gunko of it all, the everything here. Because right here in the silhouette, right, we see Brooke tall as fuck, normal. Then you see a little girl right here, right? But then when you flash back to her yelling father, it looks like she's much older. So I'm wondering if these are two different moments in time, right? This is her yelling for her father, maybe when she's being hunted in God Valley. This is her remembering him, you know, saying, singing to her as a child. And then all of a sudden she's like, Brooke, is that you, Brooke? And then all of a sudden, boom, Emu takes over. Like, Jinbei got bitched. The big three is just Luffy, Zoro, Luffy's hat. Yeah, he definitely got bitched a little bit here. But I think it's, I think Sanji and Zoro could have gotten bitched too, if I'm being so for real, because I don't think they know how to hurt them. So it's like, you know, is this going to be one of those times where, like, if I had to theorize here, I would say Chopper and Scopper, Chopper and Scopper, are going to go down to the underworld. Chopper's going to catch him and save his life and treat his wounds. And then they're going to they're going to basically come across Luffy and Loki and all of them. And they're going to tell him the situation. And then they're going to come up full force. But, and this is a but, Scopper is going to tell Luffy how to hit them. And they're all going to kind of like have a moment where they're like, oh, that's what we need to do. I don't know. See, because I was really, really counting on, there being time to train them to use this stuff, but almost like, what if they're just able to, they already know how to use it, they just need to know how to implement it. It would be like, if you knew how to draw like letters, and it's like you're really good at drawing letters, and then you learned how to do, cursive or something like that. Like, you got the basically the idea of how to use a pen, a pencil, whatever. You know how to draw characters. You just need to do them more fluently, and that's how you do that. Like, that's how I see it. So this is very interesting. This has just got me so crazy hype for next chapter. I need it. I need that next chapter, like, right now. I don't even like waiting to the officials come out, but like, I just had a lot of housework and shit to do over this weekend, and I didn't have time, and now this, I'm like, I'm glad I waited to the officials almost, cuz then it just gives me a closer window. But man, this is kind of crazy. Emu shows up in Gunko's mind after Gunko realizes that Brooks her dad, and all this stuff is happening. This is crazy. So I'm gonna give my rating for this chapter so I can skedaddle. I think this is like a nine. I do. I think that this is a nine, maybe 9.5. Just because there was a lot of really good stuff. There was a really like cool key developments. We haven't been with Luffy for like the last three chapters. And even then we only got like one panel of him and Loki being fat. Um, so like I love that we can basically go away from the main character of this and like we did this back in Egghead where we didn't even go to main characters. These were side characters and we spent months with them before heading back to Egghead. And it was still so interesting. Um, but this chapter was just really well like it gave us a lot of payoff with Scopper. It gave us, God's Night stuff. It gave us like what I feel is confirmation that Emu can take over God's Knights or probably Gorosei through the Abyss Mark most likely. And you know, Sommer's getting bodied was cool and just so much good stuff. And the possibility that this is Brooke's daughter just goes crazy. Just insane. So I just can't wait. I need more. I need more. But yeah, I think it's easily a nine, maybe tiptoeing into 9.5 territory because of all this and what the implications are for next chapter. The implications are, and this is what I'm thinking. We're going to Luffy next chapter. And the reason that is because this is a crazy cliffhanger that Emu is taking over Gunko. We need to go somewhere else because that's what Oda loves to do. And then he loves to come back at pivotal moments. So that's what I think. That's my prediction for next chapter. And, maybe if we start off back here, I will eat my words. But I know Oda loves to do this because we still need Loki's backstory. Like, we need that shit. So I don't know. Shit could be going crazy. With this, with Emu showing up, there's no one's there's no telling what's going to happen. It's just so crazy. So crazy. I love One Piece so much for shit like this. This is what gets me hype. This is what makes me go, damn, they really, Oda it really is making the greatest piece of fiction ever. And I've already thought that millions of times, but it's just even more solidified in my mind. So, yeah. So that is my thoughts. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you have been in the live chat, thank you so much for coming through. Um, I I appreciate all of you so much. I love the support. If you could, please go like the stream as well. Subscribe if you haven't. And then find me on my other socials because on Instagram and TikTok, I've been posting my live reacts to the anime episodes. So if you like that type of shit too, please go over there and do that as well. Um, I will also be putting out more content here and there. I've been trying to do the live react stuff, trying to do some card stuff as well, but I also want to put out some other things that I've been thinking as well. So please follow me on all my platforms so you get, the most of me. Um, and I just I appreciate all the support. Thank you to everyone who comes through the chat and anyone who comments after. Thank you. So, but I will see you definitely next week for this next chapter. 1150 is gonna go bananas, guaranteed. So I will see you next time.